Salaam Alaikum. Oh my gosh. Sorry, y'all. What is poppin', peeps? Salaam Alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Family, friends, foes, haters, and hateheads, welcome back to the Feachaz. I greet you all in peace and love, no hatred in my heart. Salaam Alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. LTTV, what is poppin', bro? How you doing, man? How you do? Man, I apologize for keeping y'all waiting for so long. Like, subscribe, share, hit me up on Patreon. Let me know how the sound is. As you know, a staple feature of the Feachaz is to always have sound issues, okay? So let me know how the sound is going. Let me know in the chat. Number one's in the chat if y'all can hear me fine. And family, again, I apologize. You know, it's Ramadan. You know, I'm fasting like everybody else. You know what I mean? And, you know, it's you know, and I really don't like to go on social media like that on during Ramadan when I'm fasting. So, but today, a huge story, bro. I mean, a huge story. I mean, there are a bunch of huge stories, a lot of stories I wanted to cover. I might cover them this weekend. This one right here, I think it is, appropriate for what we're doing on social media, YouTube right now, with regards to the succubus named Candace Owens. Okay? Now, Candace Owens, we covered her like several times on the channel here. And I mean, it's not really surprising what is happening right now with regards to her, Candace Owens, but if y'all have been living on a rock lately, the succubus has been fired from the Daily Wire. And there's a lot of speculation on why she's been fired from the Daily Wire. But for y'all who, oh, I sound like Darth Vader? Hold on, y'all. 1 second. Do I have my filters on? Yeah, I think so.
1 second. How's that? How's that? Oh, I sound like, see, I told y'all. We gotta have, you know, we gotta have, you know, all the sound, you know, craziness happening and the Feachaz, you know what I mean? This is something that we do. It's something that we do, okay? I am sorry about sounding like Darth Vader, you know what I mean? But I had to turn my speakers down because I can't really hear myself right now. But I hope y'all can hear, you know? So I got the filters on and everything like that, you know? I'm a little bit rusty, y'all. I'm a little rusty. We got LTTV in the house. We got Josh in the house. We got Abu Nice in the house. We got Ilyas in the house. You know, salute. Peace and love. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into what is going on with this heifer, right? So for y'all, let me just remind you about Candace Owens, y'all, okay? Candace Owens is the same person that went out doing this, okay? She was out in the streets talking about White Lives Matter shortly after the George Floyd protest, when I run around with Kanye and stuff like that. And yesterday, she was on The Breakfast Club, for those of y'all who don't know. And she was telling the world, oh, you know, The Wire, they can't fire me. Much like how Kanye said, oh, you know, Adidas can't fire me. Pretty much the same thing. And the next day she gets fired, right? So let me just remind y'all of who this person really is. And Candace Owens is a notorious liar. And I mean notorious liar, right? So 1 second, y'all. Let me get this all set up here. Don Harding, greetings. Greetings, family, greetings. Let's get down to the business, all right? So we're going to watch this clip here from Phil from the African Diaspora channel. Just check it out, y'all.
You know, this part of the game that happened to her, let's roll it.
I don't want to be a part of this culture.
You can stick around if you want. You can go watch the original video for context. I got something to say to Candace. She's probably never going to see this, but I just want to say my piece. Hey, Candace. Hey, girl. You remember high school? I remember high school. It was quite a while ago. It was like 15 years ago. You remember 2007? I remember 2007. I remember some very horrible things happened to you in 2007, and some very racist white children called you, including the mayor's son, and said some very racist things to you and threatened your life. That should have never happened to you. That was terrible. I remember you sued the school board for that. I remember because everybody was talking about it. My family was talking about it. My grandma was calling up your grandma. The entire school system was talking about it. It was a huge deal because the mayor's son was involved, and you had the NAACP backing you up when that happened, and they got you your settlement. I think you should have gotten more, because I am always ready to let racists' pockets bleed. But regardless, NAACP backed you up. The black community backed you up. I don't know a single black person who was not backing you up. And I've read some of the statements that you've made about that time and about how no one supported you. And that everybody just threw you under the bus. And I do remember that. I do remember white people were very vocal about their want for violence towards you.
All right, y'all. So y'all get the gist, okay? So Candace Owens, she has a whole lot of work for the black community, right? Because she out there raccooning day and night, twitching and twirling and twerking for Zaddy and everything. And she got herself a Zaddy to marry and everything like that, right? So she always talking about how, racism is played out and it don't really exist and blah, 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 blah. And it turns out that she got help from the NAACP to, I just want to remind y'all about who this woman is, right? Who this individual is, okay? She got help from the NAACP to help her out with some racism stuff, okay? She got a whole settlement and everything in high school. And she admits that she used to be a liberal. That's what she always talking about, how she used to be a liberal. And she switched to conservative and whatnot because of the hustle. If you want where the real money is, you got to go conservative. That's where the real money is. And you got to do a whole lot of twitching and twirling and twerking to get that conservative money. Y'all hearing me? And that's exactly what she did. Okay? So she running around with, White Lives Matter t-shirts and whatnot. She running around talking about, don't tell me about racism and blah, 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 blah. And I wasn't a slave and, and all this stuff comes out. She's just a outrageous liar. Outrage. She will say and do anything for the hustle. Okay. Well, family. Last year, or it was the last year, yeah, last year or the year before, it wasn't very long ago anyways. She was in the spotlight for some other stuff. Now, she want to give black folk that work all the time about, stop with all this racism stuff like that. Meanwhile, she out here fraternizing with actual white supremacists. She out here doing the most with actual white supremacists. What do you mean, Bilal? Let me just remind y'all. I'm just building it up, y'all. Okay, so let me remind y'all what she did, y'all.
Candace Owens is still sort of reeling from the Kanye stuff. At you got to play it up when you're having problems with Shapiro. Mm-hmm. But then what you got to do is pivot hard.
Yeah.
And this is what she does. This is Candace Owens being asked the question, your thoughts on the Confederate flag.
Oh, boy. Here.
My thoughts on the Confederate flag. I do not see a problem with people whose family members died fighting for that flag to be able to wave it high. It is
Pause
historical.
it for 1 second.
This is who she is. Black people stop claiming about racism, but Confederate flag, I ain't got no issues with.
Damn!
This is Candace Owens. This is the Candace Owens we all know and love. Okay?
Bombastic side eye. Criminal offensive side eye. Do you understand?
I just want to remind you. But why is this important, family? It's because The Daily Wire is partially owned by the avid Zionist Ben Shapiro. The avid Zionist Ben Shapiro. So she out here making, excuse for the Confederate flag and stuff like that. And remember we told you last time, the last live we did, we said that all this LGBTQ stuff, it's like a gateway drug into white supremacy. Remember we mentioned that? This is how they all start. They all start, about family values and blah, blah, blah. And, they're talking about family values and, we're trying to protect the children and family values. But really, it ain't about no family values or protecting children, nothing like that, right? This left-right paradigm, right now we're at the tail end of its existence. Whoever is taking a side has taken a side. And so that's why you see this huge global push for far right politics. And Candace Owens, she's just riding the wave in, right? So Candace Owens talking about, I don't see nothing wrong with anybody who's waving a Confederate flag and stuff. Y'all hearing me? That's what she's talking about. She's talking about, oh, no, nothing wrong with no Confederate flag. White lives matter. But black folks, don't complain about racism. Don't complain about racism. This is who she is. Right? But we're building it up, family. Don't worry. We're getting there. We're getting there. Okay? Also, Candace will remember, she said, I ain't been no slave. She said all kind of crazy. She always saying the most about black folk and everything like that. But why is this issue happening with the Daily Wire right now? We're getting there, family. We're getting there. Okay. Check out what Candace Owens, what she said here. Watch it. Watch this, y'all.
The whole Jewish thing about you, Sam. Speaking of your the whole Jewish thing about you, Sam. Speaking of your Judaism, Ben Shapiro addressed Candace Owens' remarks where she basically defended Kanye West, tweeting that he wanted to go, quote, DEFCON 3 on Jewish people. She spent her entire segment on it, asking a bunch of questions about what he was intending, giving him the most generous, interpretation possible, saying that you'd have to be disingenuous to assume that he was being anti-Semitic. Right. A lot of other just nonsense. And Shapiro came out with really lukewarm critique initially of Kanye West via a tweet. He's increasingly been feeling the heat and has gotten a bit more critical. And now he speaks out about Candace Owens' commentary specifically, since they are both in the Daily Wire fam.
Candace and I disagree about a wide variety of topics. One of the features, not the bugs, of Daily Wire Plus,
is
the fact that we openly disagree about all this stuff.
1 second, y'all.
I share my opinions about what I think Candace is saying. She shares her opinions about what I disagree about.
This is Ben Shapiro
Specifically, since they are both.
After Kanye, remember Kanye said he want to go DEFCON 3 on the Jews and stuff? Remember that time? This is really where the problem started. Because, as we mentioned before, these Zionists, they want their white supremacy with the Zionism included. You feel me? Black folk are fair game. They especially love the Negroes that have the most to say about black folk. They especially love them. I highly suggest you read the book, The Secret Relationship Between Blacks and Jews. Learn your history. So Candace Owens, she sided with Kanye West, who Kanye West, again, sided with Nick Fuentes. We'll get into that in a minute. Okay? You see, y'all think that the white supremacists, they are united. They are not united. It is exactly how Allah mentioned in the Quran that the disbelievers, you see them as united, but really their hearts are divided. That's why you have the liberal white supremacists and you have the conservative white supremacists. That's why you have the Zionist white supremacists and the Nazi white supremacists. You get it? So they have no issues. Candace Owens and Kanye West frolicking with a Nazi white supremacist like, what's his face? Nick Fuentes. No issues. So, again, Kanye, he goes, yeah, I'm going to go DEFCON 5 or whatever he said on the Jews and stuff. And this is what Ben Shapiro had to say. Ben Shapiro, again, part owner of the Daily Wire, right? This is way back last year. Let's keep watching it.
In the Daily Wire fam.
Candace and I disagree about a wide variety of topics. One of the features, not the bugs, of Daily Wire Plus is the fact that we openly disagree about all of this stuff. I share my opinions about what I think Candace is saying. She shares her opinions about what she thinks. Then I'm saying we battle it out. It's one of the things that you get at Daily Wire Plus is the fact that there is a wide variety of opinions. Listen, on a personal level, I get Candace defending her friend. She's very close with Kanye West. I get it. I don't think that her defense of Kanye is correct or convincing. I think that the real answer to the Kanye West of it is Kanye is a bipolar human being. I mean, he's made this very clear. I talked about this on the show. And bipolar people tend to say extraordinarily bizarre things and ugly things. And again, that doesn't excuse the bizarreness or the ugliness of the actual remarks, which, as I will say once again for the 1,000th time, are in fact anti-Semitic. But there's a difference between somebody cohesively saying what Kanye West said and Kanye West saying things in broken grammar in the midst of what appears to be a bizarre period of his life in which he is presenting Adidas executives with porn in front of their face. And I'm not going to treat that the same.
Kanye West went on the Alex Jones show and said he loved Hitler. How long is this bipolar episode going to last? Well, apparently till today, because Kanye West finally, I think it was today or yesterday or something like that, he put out a Hebrew apology to the Jews. So his bipolar episode only lasted like 2 years, okay? Ben Shapiro trying to chalk this up to mental illness. That's what he's trying to chalk it up to. Saying that Candace, she just misstepped. But again, the white supremacists, they have factions, like all kind of people's got factions. They want to blast black people like a kumbaya session together. Ben Shapiro and Candace Owens, can't we all just get along and just blast the Negroes? Can you stop, siding with the Nazis? That's what he want. Okay? He want Candace Owens to stop siding with he want Kanye to stop siding with the Nazis. He want his white supremacy with the bagels and stuff. Those bagels, he want his white supremacy with the kosher wine. He don't want his white supremacy with the Nazi emblems. That's how we want it. So why are we talking? Why are we talking about all this right now? Just trust me, man. I'm building up my case. Okay, I'm building it up. Okay, I'm building up my argument, right, y'all. Like, subscribe, share, hit me up on Patreon, right? Just to remind y'all who Nick Fuentes is, people. Let me just remind y'all, if y'all don't know, this is who Nick Fuentes is, y'all.
I don't support women's rights. I don't support LGBT rights. I believe in race and gender essentialism. I'm Catholic. I'm a Catholic reactionary. I believe that organized Jewry is extremely influential in the United States and pushes America towards an open society, liberalism, internationalism for their own benefit.
That's it.
That's Nick Fuentes, people. That's the people like Candace Owens and Nick and Kanye West They was out there chilling while Candace Owens was being paid her checks by Ben Shapiro. That's way back last year, y'all. way back last year, people. Okay? Okay? But family, what was really the icing on the cake for the Daily Wire? You know what it was? It was what the massacre that's happening in Palestine. You know, it's not a war. Let's call it what it is. Say, right? It's a genocide. It's not a war. War where? War, you know, implies that there are two fighting sides. There's one side getting murdered, and there's one side doing the murdering. It's not a war. So the massacre that's happening in Israel. Okay. Candace Owens, she called it what it is. She said it could be signs of genocide. But I'm going to get into that in a minute. Because Candace Owens, you remember, this is the same Candace Owens that said George Floyd isn't a martyr, and George Floyd didn't die from being choked out by Derek Chauvin. And as a matter of fact, Derek Chauvin wasn't the reason that George Floyd died. Rather, it was fentanyl. And she made an entire documentary and everything about that. But I digress. This is what really peeved off the Zaddy-in-chief, Ben Shapiro. Let's watch this show.
Waiting for Candace's response. Counterpoints did a good job covering yesterday. Ben Shapiro on video calling Candace's position on Israel, quote, disgraceful. Candace now appearing with Tucker Carlson on his X show, I guess you should say, yesterday, responding directly to Ben. Here's what she had to say.
Quote, absolutely disgraceful, particularly a coworker. Seems like a pretty big step. What? And I really don't know the background here. What is that about?
You know, there isn't much of a background. I saw the video when everybody else saw it when I woke up.
No one warned you about it.
Nobody warned me about it. It looks like maybe he didn't know he was being recorded. It looks like it was some sort of a private event. I got no clarity on the issue that he was particularly speaking on. And in what was said, I can't respond to it beyond what he's saying because it's just ad hominem attacks. I don't know.
Yeah, because it's not, we disagree, or I don't think she's correct, or maybe she doesn't know what she's talking about. It's absolutely disgraceful.
Yeah, exactly. And so I can't respond to it on a level of intellect because there's nothing that he has expressed in that, at least in that short clip, that he fundamentally disagrees with in terms of what I said. But I will say that I'm not going to respond with the same ad hominem attacks. Yes. I don't think it helps further discussion. And if that was me, that was caught on a video saying that about colleagues that I work with, I would be embarrassed. So I think that the video speaks more to Ben's character than it speaks to mine.
Has he texted you to apologize or explain or anything?
No. What tends to happen is, of course, we all have elements of selfishness within us. And so when it particularly pertains to an issue that impacts you, I was strongly speaking out against Black Lives Matter as an organization very early on as a conservative because I understood what the implications were going to be of defunding the police.
Right.
It was an issue that was important to me. I created an entire documentary to talk about this issue.
Yes.
And I held on for a long time and people began to see that actually I was telling the truth. And now we have more death in inner city communities than we had before.
Yes.
These riots and these George Floyd protests calling for defunding of the police. And I think in terms of this, that's what's also happened is that people that are pro-Israel are pro-Israel, a lot of them, because they have family members in Israel.
I get it.
They have homes in Israel.
Yes.
And so they feel very attached to this issue. And, I was very happy to host somebody who was pro-Israel. He's a pro-Israel comedian on my show the other day. And I explained this to him. I said, you are demanding that we have this same response that you are having about what people are saying on college campuses. The rhetoric on college campuses hasn't changed. Did you not remember what they were saying, what professors were saying? The anti-white explicit racism that was happening, and not even just allowed in terms of student protests, but was written into the curriculum.
So I actually
the anti-white explicit racism. I'm shocked about the anti-white explicit racism. I'm so shocked. Don't you remember what happened? They were anti-white. No, shut up, black folk. They were anti-white.
Candace Owens, people. The Candace Owens, people. So that's really the gist of it here. They were willing to sweep her siding with a Nazi under the rug, and her allegiance with whatchamacallit, Kanye under the. They're willing to forgive and forget for the star negress, the star negress. They're willing to do all that. But the second she crossed the line with the Zionism family, we can't have that.
Bombastic side eye. Criminal offensive side eye. Do you understand?
Babila, why are you saying that the Muslim, I'm making a prediction right now, family, that the Muslim grift is next? I'm predicting it now. I'm telling y'all, the Muslim grift is next.
Emotional damage.
Why you say that, Bilal? You know why I say that? If you recall, and Candace Owens said in that last clip that we just played, she did an entire documentary on George Floyd, y'all. Call him a criminal, a drug addict, all kind of stuff. Anybody who watched the documentary, you know what I'm talking about, right? If you saw it, right? But since last year, she's been doing some strange things, right? Candace Owens has been steadily moving into an independent direction, right? Which is why she's trying to align herself with Nick Fuentes, why she's trying to align herself with Kanye. She's trying to do this stuff, right? She's trying to be free from from the Matrix.
Emotional damage.
She's trying to be free from it. Y'all hearing me? So last year, she starts doing these interviews. Now, you got to remember, she is somebody who's aligned with the far right, okay? She's in these far right circles. And in these far right circles, you have not just Ben Shapiro, but you have people like Jordan Peterson, correct? Do y'all remember what happened to Jordan Peterson when he went to Israel with Ben Shapiro? What happened to him? Who remembers what happened to him, family? What happened when he went to Israel with Ben Shapiro? Jordan Peterson. Remember? Y'all remember those times? Remember the Muslims were pushing so hard to get him inside the Muslim circles and say some nice things about Islam and stuff, and then all of a sudden, remember that? So Jordan Peterson, he goes to Israel with Ben Shapiro, and all the Muslims who gave him the biscuits and the Scooby snacks and the likes and they gave him the subscribes and they sharing his video. All of a sudden, the Muslims are looking at Zaddy like, Zaddy, what you doing, Zaddy? Don't do that, Zaddy.
Emotional damage.
You're supposed to be on our team, Zaddy. Remember that? And then what did Jordan Peterson do? Right? The Muslims were done with Jordan Peterson, okay? After he said that thing about Muslims have to be, that video, that short video that he did. Muslims got to be like less violent and more tolerant and all kind of stuff. And tolerance, and you got to tolerate the Jews, and you got to tolerate and be peaceful and stop being terrorists. And you remember that? Muslims were finished with him. Muslims were done with him. That was the only thing that could get Muslims done with him. He got invited back by Muhammad Hijab. Muhammad Hijab invited him back, did a whole video and everything, took him to the masjid, and Muhammad Hijab, will you now at least consider the fact that Islam could be the truth? And what did Jordan Peterson said? He said, no! Jordan Peterson was like, shut up! No way, Jose. Can you imagine? The Muslims were finished with him. Well, you invite him back. Jordan Peterson, not only does he say no, but he goes to Israel with Ben Shapiro like the next day. And have you heard about Jordan Peterson since? Have you heard about Jordan Peterson since? Who's talking about Jordan Peterson today? Ain't nobody talking about him today. But you know who people were talking about at that time? Including and still your YouTubian da'i elites. This dude. And they still talking about him. It is not as much as before, because he's on trial and stuff, right? But watch this, y'all. This is from Milk Bar TV. Watch this clip, y'all.
Person in the world by people who pretended they'd never done anything wrong for the last 10 years.
Look at what he said 10 years ago.
So this video is from 10 years ago.
Looking back 10 years.
When you talk about Candace from 10 years ago.
Fortunately, I had no cameras in my face 10 years ago.
The idea that you did something 10 years ago.
Okay, this is 10 years ago.
I'll talk about these things from 10 years ago.
Again, if you found Candace 10 years ago, that 10 years ago, from 10 years ago. I wouldn't have said this 10 years ago.
Things from 10 years ago that.
Because of things that you said 10 years ago, 11 years ago.
Like, okay, 10 years ago, 10 years, a decade.
For 4 years, I ran a webcam studio, which people find very interesting. I had naked girls sitting on the internet talking to guys.
So you don't, do you do that still?
I have 3 girls who still work for me.
The cam business is it's still going because my most loyal girls will never leave me. That's why it's going.
If you look at anybody who made things 10 years ago, something's going to be stupid.
Currently filming this during the COVID pandemic. You may be watching this later on, but right now during the pandemic. For the last 2 to 3 years, I've been making money on OnlyFans from its inception all the way up till now.
Those old clips, my webcam company.
So if you ain't caught it yet, the math ain't mathin', family. The math ain't mathin'. COVID was when 2020? Are you talking about 10 years ago last year? With Candace Owens, 10 years ago. They is as full of, and Candace Owens is somebody who does her research. She knew what she was doing. Candace Owens is very, very intelligent, which is why she lies so expertly. Because she builds her lies before she lies. You get it? She builds a case for her lies before she actually does the lies. Let's keep watching, y'all.
Things that happened 10 years ago.
And the reason I started this course is because a lot of people have been asking me, Tate.
Let me read this for y'all, right? Last month was great for Cam and OnlyFans. 8 girls generated 551,000 USD. Why is this important? Because the date is April 21st, 2020, not 10 years ago. I'll get on a couple of thousand each and keep the 500. This month is looking to be even better. Notice it's Dr. Emery A. Tate. I have a PhD. PhD, remember, PhD for him is pimpin' hose degree. That's what he means by PhD, pimpin' hose degree. Okay? April 21st, 2020. What has Andrew Tate been charged with, fam? He's been charged with human trafficking and pimping by using the lover boy method. This is what he's been charged with. And in Britain, he's been charged with grape. Okay? So, those of y'all who didn't fail math class, please, explain to me how 2024 or 2023, when he did that interview, minus 2020 equals 10 years ago. Let's keep watching, y'all.
How do you get girls to work for you on OnlyFans? Why would a girl work for you and not decide to do it by themselves?
It was 10 years ago, and I was talking about women and dating and things in a way that I wouldn't talk about them anymore.
First things first, the reason women need a man to do OnlyFans is the same reason a woman need a man to do anything, because they're incompetent and they're very, very lazy. And they're stupid.
They're going to try and criticize me and crucify me for the next 100 years because of it, because of clips that were made 10 years ago.
Girls are desperately signing up because it's the easy way for them to make money.
19 September
But without
2021.
instruction, Pimpin' Ken. A hoe without instruction is headed for self-destruction. So these girls, they don't have a man.
That's 21. He first started out by owning webcam studios, and then he set up an OnlyFans management agency 3 years ago alongside his brother, Andrew Tate. Tristan, who is based in Bucharest, Romania, claims he is now some of the biggest girls on OnlyFans working for him, and who make 70,000 pounds a month themselves. 2021, family.
Man tell them what to do properly, they're lazy, and they end up making a few bucks, maybe, of that, and they stay on the very, very bottom of the pile. You don't want that. You bought this course, you want to make your money back, and you want to continue to make money for a long time, so you want your girls to be elite. I'm going to teach you how to do that. So if you have a girlfriend, and you have a good enough relationship with your girlfriend, you can say, look, you can do OnlyFans, maybe you do. If not, you can use this social proof to recruit girls. At any time, any place, you can say, I don't know if you're interested in making money, but if you are, there's a way we can work together.
Plenty that I disagree with that Andrew Tate has done and said in the past.
I like to think there's a statute of limitation.
Look at this 10-year-old video of him talking about this.
Currently filming this during the COVID pandemic.
And I'm being told I'm the worst person in the world by people who pretended they've never done anything wrong for the last 10 years.
Look at what he said 10 years ago.
So this video is from 10 years ago.
Looking back 10 years.
That's Exhibit 8. That's Exhibit 8. Right? We got to close this out because we got to break our fast soon, right? But I'm going to close this out real quick. Exhibit B, family. Y'all ain't ready. Y'all ain't ready for this. Watch this, y'all.
Andrew Tate's story is interesting to me for a lot of reasons. The first is because of how I met Andrew Tate.
Long time.
I know, it's been a very long time.
Very long time.
Actually, I met you downstairs at the Ritz.
Correct.
George and I were engaged at the time.
Yep.
Candace and I met in December of 2018, and we got engaged very quickly after 17 days.
As I was having this dinner with my husband and his friend, Andrew Tate was there. I had no idea who he was. This is kind of before he really took off on the internet. I had my assistant at the time with me, who happened to be Romanian. She's born in Romania, speaks Romanian, happened to have been in the United States. She spent a lot of the time that we were there talking to him, right? They were having a conversation. She comes over to me afterwards and she says, this guy, Andrew Tate, I think he's a pimp in Romania. I said, what? And she's like, no, I think he's like actually a pimp in Romania.
How long ago was your webcam business?
Yeah, so I stopped having any involvement with it. I think 8 to 9 years ago I stopped.
Andrew Tate is not hiding exactly who Andrew Tate was.
I've had nothing to do with it for 10 or 11 years. It was a long time ago. It was at the early stages of the internet.
If you're a guy and you hold citizenship in America or in the United Kingdom and you decide to uproot to Romania, it's got to be because you can do a little more dodgy stuff in Romania.
Digging back 10 years, I don't know who could survive that litmus test. Again, if you found Candace 10 years ago and you asked me about pornography, so, okay, this is 10 years ago. The content from 10 years ago is coming into play where they're saying, well, look, they're conflating this now. So even though these charges are from, and I read the indictment again, 2021, but look at what he said 10 years ago.
Look at the dates, y'all. This is from the actual indictment.
Everything from these old videos, old clips, my webcam company, things that happened 10 years ago have absolutely nothing to do with the criminal case. absolutely zero. Anything you see from before 2021 has nothing to do with the case.
So I do want you to contact.
Did you hear that? And she knows she's lying because she did a video about him in 2019 before this interview. Her husband introduced her to Andrew Tate in 2019. Her assistant told her in 2019 that Andrew Tate, I think he's a pimp.
Bombastic side eye. Criminal offensive side eye. Do you understand?
Watch this, y'all.
Contextualize this video that has been circulating on the internet of you talking about the lover boy method. So we'll take a look at that right now.
Sure. You cannot get a girl to work for you having fun. So the recruitment process is the same as the PhD course. You message them on Instagram. The PhD course is my recruitment system. I don't mention webcam until after I've had sex with the girl. If you're on dates and you're trying to mention it and shit, it just doesn't work. It puts them off. I'd never do that. That's disgusting. I'm not a whore. It's just not gonna work. You continue as normal, no mention of webcam. You f the girl. After you f the girl, you do the PhD test. If she passes the PhD test and she wants to be with you, then you start mentioning things like, yeah, but you know, you're always busy. You're always at work. You can come work for me. And this is me explaining how having a webcam company, it's actually a larger video as a whole. As I said, you cannot try and approach girls to do webcam. Hi, do you want to do webcam? It's bullshit. It doesn't work.
I believe that Andrew Tate was always upfront with all of these women.
I don't mention webcam. No one's going to say,
oh my God. Did you see that? She knows she's lying. I believe that Andrew Tate was always upfront with these women. Very next sentence, you do not mention webcam. Oh my God. Damn. Bruh. You can't make this stuff up. This is who Candace Owens is, right? So Bilal, why do you think that the Muslim grift is next? This is why I think the Muslim grift is exactly it. Andrew Tate is this innocent guy who was always up front with the girls he was dealing with and blah, 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 and happened 10 years ago and all that kind of stuff. Go read some of her tweets that she's doing recently. Some of y'all must have been sharing me some of Candace Owens' tweets, making dua for her and all kind of craziness. Making dua for her. Like madness. Bruh. No, I'm serious. Sending tweets about what she putting out on Palestine and all kind of stuff. Does this sound like somebody who really cares about the truth to you? I am telling you, her next stop is probably Muhammad Hijab.
Stop the cap. Stop the cap right now.
I'm telling y'all.
No bullshit.
I'm telling y'all. That's her next stop, man. Where do all these grifters always end up anyways? When you're with your YouTubian that elites. She ain't work for the Daily Wire anymore. She got this huge what you call a YouTube platform that needs some more followers. Where do you go next? I know. I'm going to start saying stuff about Palestine and talk about Palestine and the Muslims and the Palestinians. That's what I'm going to start doing. Where do all these white supremacists go when they're trying to revive their careers? Every white supremacist that need a revival, they run into your YouTubian elites. And I mean, they running.
Run.
She started with you know, these Nazis, like all your typical white supremacists do, right? You know that your YouTubian elites, they can't stand a Zionist white supremacist, but they love themselves some Nazi white supremacists. They love that stuff. They love themselves some Nazi white supremacists. Ask Mark Collette. Ask what's his name? Benjamin Owens. Ask Jesse Lee Peterson. Ask Jake Shields. Ask, Jordan Peterson, he'd always been a Zionist, right? And you see what happened to him, right? Not only did we see, they saw too. Now look at Jordan Peterson.
Hello, how are you? I am under the water. Please help me. Here too much raining.
All right, family. It's Gray Pill. What's popping, bro? Stepmommy, Iman. Salaam Alaikum. Assalamu Alaikum to everybody in the chat. It's almost time for us to break fast now. Right? So, again, I apologize for leaving y'all so long. But it's Ramadan. What do you want me to do, man? I'm fasting like y'all, man. But I just want to get this one out because I think this story is good for YouTube. Right? This one with Candace Owens. It's good for YouTube in general. And social media in general. Because Candace Owens is like a big personality, right? But there are some stories I want to cover that are way more important than this. Right? But I am telling you, you heard it here first. Negro Diamonds is telling you Candace Owens is coming for the Muslim grift. She's coming. Okay? All right, family. y'all can say I'm tripping, whatever. I'm telling you she's coming.
Emotional damage.
All right, family. Like, subscribe, share. Hit me up on Patreon. Salaam Alaikum. Home Tech. Wa share and stuff for a 2x2 leg. May Allah accept your fast. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.